Okay, targeting success using data, 114. So this is what we're going to do. You guys are going to go through and break this down with a spreadsheet, which will help you if there's a large amount of data. We're also going to do it graphically because there's only 10 points. I think that makes it easier to understand. But it's impractical if you're going to deal with data that's 100,000 pieces, okay? That's where spreadsheet becomes the advantage. So ultimately, we're going to pick up that tool. All right, you guys have already prepared your grid. Hopefully you've gotten all your data. If you don't, go out and finish it up today. But hopefully we have something that looks like this, where we have a grid. You don't have to have it marked in inches yet, but you recorded 10 impacts of the tape ball. As I go through this, I'll talk about that. So coming off this, step 3 we need to record the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate to a spreadsheet. So that's going to go from what looks like this. You're going to go into a spreadsheet, and it will look like this. I grabbed 4 students' data from Mods 5, 6, and here it is. Here's their x-coordinate and y-coordinate. That is in inches. The next thing it's going to have you do is it's going to have you measure the distance from the center of your target to the landing. So that would be going through here and actually measuring. You're welcome to do that. If I go here and I draw a line representing the measurement from this one to this one, that's fine, except for you already have your x and y coordinates on here, so what you can do is measure over 2.5 and up to there. And what you could do is you could use the Pythagorean theorem. That's what we're going to do in the spreadsheet. Since you already have your x and y coordinates in there, we can just measure the x, the y, x squared plus y squared, the square root of is going to be equal to this distance here. So you can get away without doing 4, certainly. You're going to have that. Continuing or skipping 5 because we already have our 10 pieces of data. Next is going to be determining its accuracy and its precision. We'll do that graphically and we'll do that numerically. You got to understand that precision is basically repeatability. The top left one here, this one is precise. It's repeatable. This one, not particularly precise, it's spread out. However, the mean average of these impacts falls inside of the bullseye, so that is considered very accurate. This is neither precise nor accurate. This one is both precise and accurate. You're going to have to make sure that precision and accuracy are in your heads. And we'll put a mathematical number, quantity on them. All right, so we can display our grids. We can do this here in a second. If we put them up here, could you guys say that's good, that's bad? Could you tell me, could you rank them in order of accuracy? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Yeah. Do you think there might be some argument? Yes, because it becomes about qualitative things. And when you start comparing things qualitatively, it's where we get the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. Somebody's not going to buy it and they're going to be mad. We're going to get away from qualitative analysis and we're going to do quantitative analysis. So the game is who is the most accurate, and we're going to put a number on accuracy in the next step. So we are going to come down to 7, and once we start doing a spreadsheet, we're going to use this to determine the quantitative analysis of our accuracy. So 7 simply says share a copy of the spreadsheet. 8 says determine the distances. So I'm going to go into this spreadsheet, and I'm going to determine the distance. So I'm going to do this with the formula. I'm going to hit equals. I'm going to do the square root. I start typing. There's square root. Now I'm going to do x-coordinate times x-coordinate. Think a squared plus b squared. So a, and then I'm going to hit shift, and I'm going to shift 8, which is the star button, and I'm going to hit that again. So a times a, that's a squared, plus b, shift 8, which is star, times b. So that is the square root of a squared plus b squared. I'll hit enter. I'm going to not autofill because I want to show you a trick. So this right here is the distance. If you have an x-coordinate of 0.5, y-coordinate of 1, the distance is 1.12. Now, I want to do that for all of them. I'm not going to do that ridiculously over and over again. I'm going to come up here to this box. In the bottom hand corner, you can see that solid square. I take and drag over it until I get a little crosshair to pop up on that box, and I'm simply going to drag it down, and I am done, which is helpful. That's kind of nice. All right, so I now have distances for all of them. So I've fulfilled that next step. So 8 is done. Now, talks about how to do a spot check. Probably a good idea to spot check. Look at your numbers, actually measure one, make sure you didn't do something crazy where you don't recognize a gross physical error. Quantifying accuracy. Okay, so let's actually determine whose was the most accurate. Our method of determining accurate is going to be determining error. It's going to be the difference between the mean of your average values and the target or accepted value. It takes you through a graphical method. If I wanted to basically do the smallest circle that goes around all of your data. So the graphical method might be, okay, where do I put a circle? I'm going to put a circle on here. I'll turn the visibility down so I can see through it. I'm going to put a circle here. I'm going to give it a color. Turn this not all the way down, but here. All right. I'm going to put a circle here, and then I'm going to drag this and adjust it until it covers. Let's see, I got to get that one. I'm going to go center there. All right. I'm going to move in how to place this circle. Round about there, and then move it down. Oh, gotta make it a little bit bigger. Doesn't quite get it. Where is the center of that circle? Would you agree it's right around in here? So that's how I'd go about determining that. Then I would measure that distance from there to there. That would give me a pretty good one. I'm going to do this a much more exact way with a spreadsheet. I'm going to take the average of the x-coordinates and the average of the y-coordinates. That's going to give me the center. So my center x is going to be, to do that, I have to hit equals. I'll start typing AV, and then I'll choose the average of the x-coordinates. Hit enter. The average is negative 0.75. For the center of the y, I'm going to hit equals. I'll start typing AV. I'll choose average, and I'm going to do B2 through B11, that is to say all the y coordinates. So my average is actually at 0.75 and 3.5. So my average is going to be 0.75, 3.5. My average is actually going to be right there. So maybe my drawing's not all that good. That's going to be the average y coordinate. Okay. The distance from that to the center would be considered by the distance between negative 0.75 and 3.5 would be right here. So that's the point. My distance will be from here to here. I'll do that in the spreadsheet by doing y squared plus x squared, the square root of. That's how I'll get that. So going into here, I'm going to use, this is going to be equal to the square root of this times this itself plus this times itself, and hit enter. So the distance from my average impact point to the center of the bullseye is 3.58. This would lead to no argument. You do a spreadsheet, and unless you did a poor job of entering your data, you will have a number that quantifies your accuracy. That's what we're after. I don't want to argue back and forth. Now, obviously, using a spreadsheet's a little bit of a pain compared to just going through and doing it graphically. However, if I'm doing 10,000 pieces of data or 100,000 pieces of data, if I'm going to really apply statistics, I want a large sampling in order to have the law of large numbers hold up. I don't necessarily want to, just do 10 trials, but rather many, many more. This is where spreadsheet saves you time. So spreadsheet may not be the most enjoyable thing, but you're going to have to kind of pick up on spreadsheets to be doing that. in order to quantifiably determine your range, or I'm sorry, your precision, I just went through steps 12, we're going to use range, okay? I did not find a range function in Google Sheets. I'm not an expert in Sheets, so I just, in order to determine the precision, I'm going to just use the range of X and the range of Y. So I'm going to hit equals. I couldn't find a range button. I'm going to do max. I'm going to do the maximum of the X's. I'm going to close that parenthesis, minus the min of the X's. Maximum, the biggest one, minus the smallest one, is your range. I'm going to do the same thing for the Y. The maximum of the Y's. I'm going to close that parenthesis, minus the min of the Y's. Enter. So I have a range on the X of 5.5 and the range on the Y of 10. That's a pretty tight grouping compared to most people's data that I saw. So certainly that's pretty good. Now, I'm going to stop here in a moment. I'm only going to go through the qualitative nature of the next part, and I'll resume and pick back up because I know this is kind of heavy and a lot. The next thing we're asked to do is design criteria, calculate a target using design criteria. We want to design a target where 25% of the bags launched must hit in the inner bullseye, 50% in the next ring, and 25% in the outer area. In order to do that, and I'm going to show you how to do this mathematically, I'm going to undo a couple of these rings. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to make a circle that includes 25% of the data. So I start here, tell me when to stop. I grow, I got 10% because there's 10 pieces. I got 20%, there's 2 pieces. Right there, is it fair to say that I have 2.5 hits? That's 25% of the data. The next one, I'm going to grow out, and I want to get the next 5. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. And I want to get a half of the next one. So I'd argue about right there, because I have half of this one, that's 5%, 15%, 25%, 35%, 45%, and then picking up 5% of half of that one, that's 5%. So I can make my rings according to data. This isn't practical to do this with 10,000 or 100,000 pieces of data. So if I were using a large numbers, the graphical method would become unbearably long, and I'd want to do a shortened version. The shortened version we'll pick up with tomorrow in class doing with the spreadsheet. So we today are going to take our data, enter it in X and Y. We're going to go through the steps on the PLTW website where I determine the distances for them. The average, I'll come up with a number. That number right there is the quantitative measurement of your accuracy. And then you also have a quantitative measurement of your precision, which comes in the form of range. We're then going to start with tomorrow doing that data.